But I'm going to go on and turn it over to Mr. Ed right now. And Ed, if you'd like to go on and start, I think we're ready.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Good morning, everybody. If you would be so kind, go ahead and mute out your microphone, and we'll be able to eliminate, of course, any background noise or whatever else. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to pop in, and I'll be happy to try to address those questions. The master page, or the splash page for us, is at globaldatafusion.com. Not necessarily to bookmark this, but what I would like for you to bookmark is when you go over to the client login, please click on the general client login, and that's the page that you would want to bookmark. This morning, that is actually our live server. This morning, we're going to use a duplicate server that we have, and it's a server that we use for training, and this is our demo server. Just for the sake of demonstration this morning, we're going to pretend that we're Sally Jones, and that we are working for the Acme Widget Company. You will be issued, if Kim has not done it already, we'll do that this morning, a username and a password, and that will allow you into our system. And this is the dashboard. Hopefully everybody can see the my computer screen. It's a very straightforward system. There's virtually no learning curve. What we would encourage you to do is to get in, log in to the system, and just poke around a little bit. If you have any concerns, or if you're entering data, if you misentered something or whatever else, don't hesitate to call us. We're accustomed to dealing with customers, and that's what we love doing. So don't hesitate to call us and say, hey, look, this needs to be changed, or I don't want to really submit this person for a background or whatever else, and we'll be happy to help you with that. The whole key to the system is right here when you log in and you hit your dashboard. This is the new order button, so if you click this, then you come up to the entry screen, and again, don't pay any attention to these prices. This is some old stuff, and it's just for demo. But we do need a signed authorization form before we do the background. So if you don't have that, please get with Kim on that. And we'd like to know if it's on file at your company at Waitr, or if it's not on file, or if it's on file here with Global Data Fusion. Your name as a person entering the data will show up here automatically when you log in with your credentials. We suggest that you send a copy to the applicant as no. These folks, if they are refused a job, or even if they aren't, if they're hired, they have a right to see their background outputs, so you can do that. We suggest that you don't automatically send it to them. If you want to, you can put in your department or location. That might be an easier way to track things. This is an a la carte system, so we have all of, I think, Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have all of the default products that we are going to produce for Waitr already checked. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay, good. So you're really not going to have to worry about going in here and choosing any of the products. When you log into the Waitr client interface, then you're going to see there are some that are pre-checked. For some reason, if you don't want to run one or more of those particular products, then you can uncheck them. If you want to add products, you can check them. If I don't recall, I'm not sure we have an abundance of additional products that you run. I think the company has specified what's necessary and what you want to run. So they're probably all pre-checked for you. Then it's a simple matter of putting in the applicant's name. We'll do something exotic like Fred Smith. And you don't have to put in fact, we'd recommend you probably don't put in AKAs or aliases, and the reason is because one of the things we're going to run is the Social Security number, and that will produce any aliases that's associated with that Social Security number, and we will also run a background on any aliases that pop up. So my suggestion is just leave this blank. Street address would be important. Let's put, I like for people to live on Easy Street. And we'll just pretend we're in Lafayette, Louisiana. And The next thing that's of importance to us, of course, is the Social Security number. And the date of birth. You have a choice of formats, and I like to take the path of least resistance, so I'll do 070173. I enter it with no slash marks. It's just easier for me. If you want to, you can put the position applied for. The driver's license number. I think we're going to be doing driver's license checks for Waitr. So we would put in any digits that show up on the driver's license. In Louisiana, it's preceded by a 00 or a 01. So we'll say, we'll enter it like that. It's very important that we have the issuing state. Again, I'll say Louisiana. This is a section here where if the applicant has ever been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor, they can tell you about it in that authorization form. In this case, we're going to say no. If it was yes, maybe a DWI in, gosh, I don't know, Sunset, Louisiana in 1967. We just should make it very old. Applicant phone number, you can track that if you wish. Applicant email address, you can also track that if you wish, but it is not a required field. And if you have any comments that you want to put, you can do it there. So that's it. That's the straightforwardness of the system. Once you've done that, you hit the next button, and it brings you to what we call our check work page. So you can come into the data segment of this, and you can see exactly what you've entered, double check it if you wish, add additional information if you wish. Here's a line that's very, very important. This is the general release form. Let's say that you have an applicant that's come in, they've signed their authorization form. What we'd recommend is that you scan that into a PDF, as small a PDF as you want or can. Black and white's fine. And then you simply click on the upload button. It at this point will ask you where's the file, and then upload it into the system. Once you've done that, it becomes a permanent part of this applicant's record. It will always be there. And so when the feds come knocking, we can show them the authorization instead of sending them to the Waitr office to see it. So it stays all in one place, which is kind of nice. The other part of this is that these will always be on file, so we keep them in perpetuity. We don't flush the system, and they will be there from day one. So at this point, you could still delete the order if you'd like. Once you say, I agree, then this turns into submit. You click submit, and you're done. That simple. So if we want to go back, and let's say we want to check the applicant, immediately you could go back in and see how we've done with Fred Smith. So here's one that was entered today, and you can click on the applicant ID, and you'll notice that the caveat is here. This report is still pending completion, so it's not ready. But when we have completed it, then you will see this caveat or this red text gone, and it will say this is complete. Also, you can go back in and retro, if you will, a release form. You can click right here for that. Let me see if I can get some stuff. Let's see. Received. Let's see if we have some in there. Okay, I'm trying to find one that we have done, and let's see, orders, and I can go to received. Let's just do 1/1/2000 to present date. So that will drag up anybody that we have in the system that's completed. Okay, let's take this one for example. I've dummied up a report. This is what the completed report will look like. It's formatted for your printer if you want to print it. Again, the caveat is you don't have to, because it's going to be here permanently for you. The very first thing in the summary is an executive summary. Anything in green has come back as we expected. If there's something we want to draw your attention to, you'll see the flag, see comments. And with this one, I just ran a variety of products. But if you want to view the release form, for example, you can click on this, and this will show you the release form for Margaret Noel. Let's go back to this. Okay. So as we scroll down, this is the format that you would expect to see. In this case, we did an education verification, employment verification. The data supplied by the applicant was on the left, and the verified data was on the right. Court, this would be what we call county criminals or parish criminals, where we actually dispatch a researcher to the courthouse and physically run the records. In this case, there were some issues with this particular applicant. We check for international terrorist watch list, European Union watch list, sex offender. There's a variety of things, and Kim can go over that litany with you that we check for. We also do a national criminal as well as that localized or that county parish criminal check. Let's see. Here's a sex offender hit in St. Louis for this particular individual. There was a aggravated sexual assault, I think. Yeah, aggravated criminal sexual assault. This would be the nationwide criminal. And these things are fairly straightforward, but if you have any questions on exactly what you're looking at, don't hesitate to call us, especially early on, because you're going to be looking at stuff that you've probably not seen before. So if you need an interpretation, we're here for that. This is a credit check that we did on an individual. We're tied in directly with the credit bureaus. Here's a driver's license or motor vehicle check. We're hooked in directly with the motor vehicle divisions throughout the states. And again, these are self-explanatory, pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us. I don't think I'd hire this person. It looks like they did everything but ran over a water hydrant. And then this is something, too, I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. The EEOC says that if you're not going to hire somebody because of their background, you have to send them a pre-adverse action letter, and then 7 days later, or within 7 days, you have to follow up with an adverse action letter. We have those pre-crafted for you here, and this is probably going to be a bigger concern to HR, but just so you will know about it, if you decide that you're not going to hire Margaret Noel, then what you would do is come to the bottom of her completed background and hit pre-adverse action. Here is a pre-crafted letter to Margaret, and it says, hey, we're looking at your background, and it doesn't look, we're concerned. If you have any questions, here's a copy of your background, and if you have any questions, these are the folks that perform the background check. Please call them. And so this would be the pre-adverse action letter. 7 days later, you could follow it up with an adverse action letter, and again, it's a copy and paste thing, and this says, sorry, we're not going to hire you based on your background, and here are the credit union things if it was a credit union issue, or here's the company that ran your background. If you'd like to dispute anything, please call that company. There's also a cover sheet if you just want to write a letter. It's all pre-addressed for you. And basically that is the system. Fairly straightforward, I think. I hope you will find. There are a number of other tabs. As I said, I would encourage you to just fiddle with those and look. You can see the recently received reports. There's some pre-done things here for you. If you want to see what you have recently submitted, you can check in here today, last 3 days, all work in progress, orders entered, or you can go to the orders, and you can put in the person's last name and search by that, or applicant ID. Nobody, I think, would ever remember an applicant ID, but again, you can choose status, either entered, submitted, received, released, modified, or approved. And I know you're computer savvy, so this is a very straightforward system. Up at the upper right-hand side, there's an administration button. This would allow you to change your password, and we recommend that you do that. If you have a password issue, if you've forgotten it, if you've lost it, or for some reason you want to change it, you can change it here. But if it's lost, you can actually give us a call, and we will send you a password reset. And here's the log out button. We'd ask you to do that when you're finished your session. If not, it'll time out for you. You can go back in and take a look at your orders. Invoices are accessible here, and I'm going to just put January 1st, let's say 2009. This will show us some invoices. Here's one for, let's say this one. We'll pick the middle one. For Acme. Here's a summary invoice, and this shows the individual that was run, the price of that particular background. And if you want to drill down just a little bit, let's say we want to see what Fred White did. There's his background. And that's about it. I would be happy to entertain any questions you might have if you have any. Okay, Kim, it's yours.